you should, because it's... Oh my god, I hurt my elbow doing that. Oh. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan and we're here. So I've spoken quite a few times on my channel about my love for... I'm wrapping up, by the way. We're gonna get cozy because non-fiction can be cozy too. What the fuck? I've spoken quite a few times on my channel about my love for non-fiction, and since it is non-fiction November, which I know isn't a big thing on like this part of BookTube necessarily, I guess the part I'm on, I still think it's a good excuse for me to talk about non-fiction and about how non-fiction can be just as like engaging and quick to read and atmospheric and all of those things as fiction. So I've got a lot of recommendations. We're going to fly through them very quickly. These are essentially all my favourite non-fiction books I've read kind of this year, roughly. I think all of them actually are this year. Maybe one or... not sure. Maybe one or two of them are last year. The first book I'm going to recommend is one you've probably heard lots and lots about already, but that is Becoming by Michelle Obama. It's a bit of a chunker, and it doesn't look like it will be, but like I've heard people say how long the audiobook is. I read it physically. I don't know which I'd recommend because I can't recommend... well, I can't recommend the audiobook because I haven't listened to it.
You bitches are stupid.
She said on the BookTube series, if you've seen that, the interview she did with like Jessie the Reader and Ariel, that she wanted to make parts of it read like a story, and I definitely felt like that reading it. I think it's really engaging, and there's times where you really just forget that you're reading a non-fiction book. You are really just reading the story of her life. The only difference is it's not a fictional character, she's a real gal. She's living and breathing, boys. It takes you through her life, and it's really, really beautifully written. And you are able to see what it's like to be someone in her position, right? I mean, that's not something we're ever gonna like experience. I mean, I doubt it. The section on her childhood was actually my favourite part because I felt like you really just felt for her as a kid. Like, there's a certain empathy I guess we have for kids that we don't have for adults. Is that weird? Like, I just feel like you just felt for her and you just wanted her to be okay, and the struggle she was going through, and you just thought, wow, like that's a strong ass kid. Like she faced difficulties, and I mean we all face difficulties, but hearing about hers, something that differs from my own, I think it's really important reading. So definitely pick up Becoming by Michelle Obama if you haven't yet. I know there's a lot of hype around this, and so maybe you're thinking, well,
Again, if I already picked it up, I would have already.
but this is me telling you just pick it up. Just do it. Like, no, I don't want to throw that. The next book I'm going to recommend isn't necessarily an autobiography, but okay, let's just talk about what it is. So this is Stacey Dooley on the front line with women who fight back. Now, if you don't know, Stacey Dooley is a British investigative journalist. The great thing about this book is, I mean, she's an interesting person. She's someone who wants to go into journalism. She's someone I definitely look up to. But the thing about this book is it isn't really about her. It's about all the women who she has met throughout her time as an investigative journalist and all the difficult positions that they have been in. So just to give you an idea, it's separated into different sections, different women she's met. We deal with issues such as immigration, drugs, female prison, child abuse, femicide, high-end to low-end prostitution, trans prostitution, abortion, child sexualization, murder, war, and survival is the last one. So that gives you an idea of the really heavy topics that we are dealing with. I really enjoyed the subject, topic of trans prostitution. I feel like that's not something that gets talked about a lot in our media, and I feel like she gave really good insight to that. But in all of these, the most important thing in here is the women, right? She paints a human picture of the issues. Do you know what I mean? It's not like she just talks about the issues. She talks about those women's lives and their struggles and their personal stories. You know, the section, I think it was in immigration, of you know, the struggles of people trying to cross the Mexican border into the US, and how dangerous that is, and all the kind of dangers they face, and the sacrifices they make to try and, you know, get better lives for their children or something. It was just like heartbreaking. And I read it in a day. So if anyone tells you, or if you're going to be saying to me now as well, another excuse,
Because I just read non-fiction, that's why I do it. Like, I got my reading goal.
a day, and I was traveling. Like, I was traveling to the airport, getting on a plane, packing, all of these things, and I still read it in a day. So if that gives you any idea, it's a quick read. She's a really inspirational woman, and Actually, on the face. I definitely recommend picking this up if you're interested in all the struggles that women face all over the world, because this book really isn't in the UK, it's all over other countries. So the next book I'm going to recommend, My Family Let Me Down, and it was on the list for them to bring up, but is it in my hands? It is. This is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay, I believe. I mean, I'll put it up on the screen. This, if you are interested in medicine or your local health service, or just like staying alive, having the health service good enough that we stay alive, then
the key is to do with the jaw and then flick it really hard, as she said. Your tongue, so and then okay.
Maybe you should read this. So this is Adam Kay's diaries from when he was a junior doctor in the NHS here in the UK, and if you are in the UK, this is like required reading. There is like not a question. You need to put this in your Amazon cart or your book depository cart or your Waterstones cart. I don't care where you buy your books, but you need to put it in your cart and you need to read it. Like, there is no excuse, because it gives us such insight into how majorly and royally, I don't know if I should swear anymore, but majorly and royally fucked our NHS is. And it's written at a time when the NHS had more funding than it did now. All I'm going to say is the general election is coming up soon and Labour's going to save the NHS. The Conservatives want to ruin it so they can just have private healthcare. Choices. Make them. I can't even put it into words how heartbreaking and shocking it was. But, you know, just him having to deal with what all doctors have to deal with, like tiny pay for so many hours, and you've got people's lives in your hands, you know, throughout this whole thing. So it's just an amazing and so eye-opening. Next book I'm going to recommend, I'm only going to talk about this quickly, and it is Dead Mountain. I spoke about this in my RuPaul's Drag Race Queens as Books video, which I'll go link up above if you haven't checked it out. Oh my god. That was strange. This is essentially about a group of hikers who died in very mysterious circumstances in Russia, and it's essentially the author trying to figure out how this could occur. He has interviews with people who knew them, interviews with one of the members who had to leave early and so didn't die with the rest of the group. And yeah, he just tries to theorize about how it could have happened, because it's in very mysterious circumstances. Everyone's got a theory, and he tries to really deep dive into it, and his conclusion is one of the best ones I've heard, to be honest. And this also reads like a story because it's split between present day and him taking you through their last steps. And so it was really gripping in that sense. And yeah, I don't want to spend too much on it because I've spoken about it on my channel before, but it was a great read, and you are just so confused so much of it because the situation just does not make sense. Like how they were not clothed in the snow, like minus degrees, and how they were like close to their tent but not, they'd obviously ran from their tent, they'd cut out of their tent from the inside. All crazy situation, and he does a really great job of trying to figure it out. The next book I'm talking about is Talking to My Daughter About the Economy by Yanis Varoufakis. So this is essentially, if you have no clue about how the economy works, like me, she's clueless. This is a really great book to start with. You probably recognise him. I feel like most people will recognise him, right? So this is him writing as if he is talking to his daughter about the economy and trying to explain the economy. And for me, it really helped because it explains it in very, very simple terms. It's a really engaging book. And after that, you think, how was this not more informed? How was I not more educated? Because these are the kind of things we need to be educated on so that, you know, capitalists, businessmen, and the people in power don't pull a fast one on us. Being spoken to like a child about the economy just really helped me actually learn something about it for once, because I feel like if you're speaking to me in adult language about it, I'll be like, second to last book is Chav's The Demonisation of the Working Class by Owen Jones. This is essentially about how the working class has been really demonised in the UK, and how we've painted a certain picture of these people, and it legitimises those in power and delegitimises people who are disadvantaged. You know, the way that politicians, I guess, many politicians see themselves as like the opposite of the working class and kind of like against each other. Something that was really interesting was, everyone probably knows the case of Madeleine McCann. It was a young girl who went missing in Spain. She came from a fairly affluent family. And then there was another case of another girl who went missing called Shannon Matthews, and the media portrayal around her disappearance and the reaction, there was much less of a reaction, and he tries to argue that that was particularly because Shannon Matthews was from a really, really kind of low working class background. I mean, it did turn out that her mum had hidden her to try and get money, but just in the case of like the public reaction, it was a stark difference in how people reacted and wanted to help these two girls. He's a bit of a divisive figure in the UK, but I really like a lot of what he says, and this book was just so eye-opening. I kind of want to reread it because I just want to take it in again. This is like heavy non-fiction. Like, this is if you want a challenge, I recommend this. Some of the other ones, like This Is Gonna Hurt, Stacey Dooley Becoming, are easier. Both Stacey Dooley and This Is Gonna Hurt I read in a day each. So this is if you want a bit more of a challenge. And I'm like, girl, I want a deep dive. If you're not in the UK, I'll open your eyes up to a part of UK culture and belief that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. And then finally, we've got Betting the House, the inside story of the 2017 election. Now, don't be clicking off going,
Girl, what's the UK election? I don't care.
well, maybe you should. I care about your politics. Oh my god, the sun is bright. I'm a politics bitch. I'm a bitch for British politics. I love it. Particularly in times of turmoil, general elections. I can't wait for them to do another one of these. That's why I'm so excited about the general election that's coming up. You know, it looks so chunky, but it's like, they're just thick pages. Like, you're looking at that going, Megan. But it's fine, it's a really quick read. What I love about this is it is the behind the scenes of British politics. It is things you should never know. It is how each party scammed their way into getting votes, essentially. All the behind the scenes stuff they do, like all the political tinkering that goes on. If you like in fantasy, okay. Ooh. In fantasy, if you like political intrigue, political drama, you like it when there's fighting, when there's like people trying to one up each other. This is the real life version. This is the inspiration for those fantasy books, and it tells you everything. It's one of my favourite books I've read this year. I saved it to the end because I think it's the one least people will be interested in. But girl, if you come at me saying, I love that political element in books, if you liked it in The Thunderhead, if you like the political stuff in, I don't know, I can't think of anything right now, but this was so good. This was so good. British politics is not good, but this was perfection. Chef's kiss. So that was all my recommendations. If you are a non-fiction newbie, I think any of these books would be a great place to start. Read all of them. Just read all of them. Like, put them all on your TBR because they are all impeccable books. Impeccable books. I don't care if you haven't read non-fiction ever. Like, that's the point of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down below if you're interested in reading any of these, or maybe you have read them. I mean, if you've read Becoming, I reckon everyone's gonna read any of these. I don't think anyone's gonna come into me going, yeah, Megan, I loved Betting the House. But you should, because it's, oh my god, I hurt my elbow doing that. Thank you so much as always for watching. I hope you're having a good week, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye!